All right, today we start chapter 5, lesson 3, about peer pressure and refusal skills, all right? What this really is going to come down to is what we're going to talk about is peer pressure and the decisions you make when you have peer pressure put on you, all right? Let's be honest about one thing right up front. Peer pressure is a very powerful force. It's hard to push back against people that are trying to enforce their wills upon you. However, it can be done, and it takes a strong person to do it. And it is going to be ultimately sometimes just a battle of wills. All right? When someone gets up and tells you maybe to do something or act in a certain way, are you strong enough to stand up to that person and tell them to knock it off and not do it themselves? Like I said, it becomes a battle of wills, and sometimes it's a matter of seeing who will back down first. All right? There's two types of peer pressure that we're specifically going to look at. We're going to have direct and indirect. Direct peer pressure is like, I'm trying to think of a good scenario would be direct is when they direct comments towards you. Like, you need to wear this shirt tomorrow, or the peer pressure that you need to be here at this time so we can go do something. Okay, that is peer pressure, and that is a direction. It is directly at you, all right? Just like the word direction, same thing. Indirect means that you're noticing a lot of kids are wearing a certain style of shoe at school, so then you decide you need to go out and buy a certain style of shoe, and so you'll fit more in. If you want to use a sports analogy, is that you see a lot of kids are going up to the gym to do stuff, so you decide to start going up to the gym to do stuff with them as well. You also have positive peer pressure. Positive peer pressure can actually be, I think it's a fantastic thing. But the first thing you got to understand about positive peer pressure is that it's going to be an advocacy. All right, someone's going to advocate for you, or you're going to advocate for yourself. When I say advocacy, they're going to try getting you to do something. All right. To me, when I'm talking positive, they might talk you into try playing a sport. They may ask you to go just maybe for a walk with them to get you going a little bit. It also just maybe they invite you to come do something you wouldn't normally do. Maybe it is go work in a field. Maybe go on a trip to someplace and, do something that you've never done before. Those things are very positive and can have a very profound effect on people. The biggest thing you got to understand about positive peer pressure is that it is meant to improve your own well-being, all right? And when I'm talking about improving your own well-being, you really have to be self-advocate at this point in time, all right? And you got to be willing to let, people are going to pressure you to do some things. It's okay to try it. I mean, as long as it's something that's not going to hurt or harm you, it's absolutely worth trying. And more people should be more open to these ideas. So obviously, if we have positive, we're going to have the flip of that, and we're going to have negative. Negative peer pressure is just this is what more of you are probably more familiar with. And it's often meant to hurt you or others, or cause trouble for people. Okay? Hurting you, obviously, people can say words that, you dress different, you look funny, whatever it may be. And that's very negative, obviously. It could be that you're standing around listening to your friends talk about somebody in a negative light, and that here again, kind of negative peer pressure. And then the other thing is it causes trouble when peer pressure is, hey, let's go do something. And as you start going out to do something, you find out that you're doing something that's maybe illegal or against the law, or something that's just maybe not right. All those things are negative, and we obviously want to avoid those situations as much as we can. Some examples of this could be your friends try going out and they say, hey, take a puff of my cigarette, take a sip of this alcohol, whatever it may be. Those are just a couple of things that come off the top of my head. Use of chemicals of any kind, obviously, is probably the biggest thing that you're going to hear a lot about. But there could be other things too, is maybe approaching boundaries where you've set for yourself. People are going to try pushing you past those boundaries in ways that aren't healthful. You got to make sure that you stand your ground in those situations as well. You got to understand within negative peer pressure, friends will manipulate you. Friends are going to make you probably try doing things you don't want to do. And you'd be surprised what friends you hear it from. It's not going to be from the friend that you're not a friend with. It's going to be some of your better friends are sometimes going to ask you to do something that you probably wouldn't do. And I don't think they mean to be negative most of the time, but you just got to realize, okay, nope, this isn't for me. I got to kind of stand my ground then. All right? When friends are trying to manipulate you, what they're really trying to do is they're looking for a weakness in your own, shall we say, armor. Where can they find a little dent or a crease and see if they can force their way in that way to make you do something. My friends kind of did stuff like this to me all the time. In that if they said, I'm one of those people, if you say you couldn't do it, I'd prove to you I can do it. And sometimes that wasn't always the best idea. And none of it ended up too badly for me, obviously, but that's just a simple example of they're like, yeah, he won't try it, so they dare me to do it. Then when I did it, they're kind of like, you did it. And then I get in trouble, and yeah, you get the idea. So, if we are going to have to deal with negative peer pressure, we're going to have to learn about refusal skills, all right? And a refusal skill is nothing more than communicating strategies that help you say no effectively. And the biggest thing within this is that you're really going to have to learn how to stand up for yourself. In the end, you are responsible for your own actions and your own deeds. I am responsible for my actions and deeds. And if someone talks you into doing something that isn't right or illegal or whatever else and you get caught, it's no one else's fault but your own. Okay, and this is, like I said, this is responsibility. This is why you need to learn refusal skills. My best line I always love when I've heard from kids over the years is, well, so-and-so talked me into trying it, so I just did. And then when you got caught by the cops, they're like, oh, well, so-and-so talked me into trying it. It's like, doesn't matter. You're the one that did it. You're the one that got caught. It does not matter. You got to take responsibility for your own actions. All right? And when we're talking about refusal skills, we're really teaching you a strategy to say no. Okay? The book gives a good one. It's called Stop. All right? Stop is just that. The S, say no in a firm voice. You need to make it clear right up front if your friends are trying to get you to do something you don't want to do. How you say it and the body language you use really prompts how they're going to react. If you do more of the laid back where you're, no, I don't want to do that. I really shouldn't do that. Well, once you say you shouldn't do something, you're actually opening the door for them to really attack that. Well, you shouldn't do it, but you can do it, You don't want to do those things, all right? And then with the T, you tell them why you don't want to do it. Tell them it's illegal. Tell them it can cause harm. Tell them it could, worst case scenario, kill someone. I mean, it's no different than it's funny that we have the word stop up there, where 4 teenagers removed a stop sign, thinking they were going to be funny, while someone ended up running that stop sign and killing someone later that same night. So you give them the reason why you tell them no, and why it's just not a safe idea to do it. Offer an alternative idea. Maybe instead of they're saying, let's go do this and see what, we can break. Maybe you say, hey, let's go watch a movie instead. It's a really good movie. It's got a lot of, it's also a really good action movie. A lot of, high intensity scenes. Let's go watch that instead. It's much better to offer an idea, because I often find that a lot of times kids do know right from wrong. And if you offer them an alternative that is going to probably end up much better in the long run, a lot of kids will take it. And don't be afraid to put that idea out there. When all else fails, you got to make sure you promptly leave the situation. This is pretty simple. If you're at like someone's house and there's a few people there, all of a sudden, next thing you notice, there's beer cans starting to show up and this and that. It's probably time to leave, all right? And get out of there as quickly as you can. You do not want to be that person that gets in trouble. They can, if you're at a party, every one of you can get a what's called a minor in possession. Those of you that participate in activities, that means you cannot participate in activity for 6 weeks. Also, if you're not currently in an activity, then the next activity you join and choose to participate in, you might have to miss the next 2 events or weeks, depending which is more severe of the two. So you got to realize there is always a consequence for everything. So if you're in a situation where stuff shows up you don't want to be a part of and you've given your reasons, then get out. Don't stick around. All right, styles of communication. There are three styles of communication. I kind of know where all of you fit in a lot of these, but I want to see where you think you fit. All right, first one's aggressive. Aggressive style of communication means you're speaking in a way that is overly forceful, pushy, hostile, and otherwise attacking in approach. Most of you are probably going, Mr. Nelson, that's you. In a sense, yeah, it is, but I'm not usually those things unless I think I need to be. Most of you, I mean, some of you probably fall in this category. Most people don't. But the aggressive communicator is often not afraid to speak their mind and willing to tell people what they think. So then the polar opposite of the aggressive is the passive. The passive communicator often has a tendency to give up, give in, or back down without standing up for your rights or needs. Now, this is the person that can often get themselves in trouble faster than anyone else. Not because it's their idea, because they don't know how to stand up for themselves. Most of us would agree that being passive in this world anymore is not a good thing. All right, yes, some of you are more passive than others. I totally agree with that. I totally understand that. But you got to know at what point in time you need to stand up and be firm. Last one is assertive, behaving with confidence and clearly stating your intentions. You can be a passive person, but then when time push comes to shove, you got to put your foot down and say, you know what, I'm not doing this, I'm getting out of here right now. If somebody keeps trying to talk you into staying, first of all, say it once and be done. Don't waste your time or effort trying to change anyone else's mind. Be assertive, get yourself out of that situation. Anyone tries stopping you, just keep walking. So you can see why the three styles of communication are important when it comes to your refusal skills. You can be aggressive, and to a certain degree, you maybe want to be, depending on the people you're dealing with. Only problem with aggressive personalities at times, especially depending on the situation, is it can often lead to escalate it, make it worse, may possibly lead to violence. So we obviously want to avoid that. Like I said, being passive is just a good way to get walked all over. Yes, some of us are more naturally passive than others, but it's not about being passive in the situation. We need to make sure that we're more assertive when we need to protect ourselves. And being assertive all the time is probably the best way to go. It just means that you're confident, you know what you want to do, and you know where your lines are, and you won't cross them. All right, so that's today's lesson. We're almost there to the end of this chapter. We have one more section, then we'll have a test in a few days. All right, have a good day.